chance for a Marsborne upset. Now it's been the opposite. 3 times they've matched up since Sixy has joined, and it's been win, win, and win for Marsborne. 2-0 twice over, and then it was very close in that Eagle Masters final where at this point we've finally seen Voka pick up a map in the series, and it was Train where we're going to get started here. No surprise to see Voka going back to this. They 13-4'd in that previous matchup, though the last times prior to that Marsborne had been winning this Train. So there's certainly going to be a lot to look at as we look to the B site.
Yeah, and a little bit different. Marsborne picked into Overpass, and they were playing over in Dust 2 Eagle Masters, so it's sort of a return to familiar territory. There's Carson out with the entries and getting pretty far. They've lost Slump in this coordination, but, I mean, Dia, a player that, I don't know how we didn't mention him in the pregame, speaking a lot about Marsborne, and we're just getting to that focus side, one of the most dangerous in North America with that AWP, waits up top with his P250, but Grizz, he walks in his way, has to really get a fight that's favored, and I just don't know if that's so plausible. Probably going to get smacked up in the side of the head here by Carson, who was sneaking down below. A nice 4K for the man himself.
Yeah, listen, I mean, I certainly think you're right. We really did not get the chance to discuss where Voka are at the moment, but bringing Carson into this lineup, it was just a make sense move on every level.
Oh, yeah.
And that's from like a role perspective, from a personality perspective, but you can see how effective it is where Carson can be, you know, that more aggressive rifling piece that I think, you know, to be honest with you, I was sort of missing. Not missing, like there definitely was that guy, but, you know, just to a less consistent degree. That's the reality. And I love what I've been seeing with Carson ever since he's come in.
Yeah, and I believe when we were interviewing Snav back in Series 2 of Dust 2 Eagle Masters, we actually got to learn that, you know, Dare was taking a step back and tends to return. So, like, when knowing that and remembering when, you know, Sonic took Carson's place over on NRG, it was a no-brainer to see that put down, especially where I feel like the roles work out a little bit better over here, Vinny. Don't get me started on that talk, even in round 2.
Oh, no.
Because we got an interesting force.
Yeah, holding back is it's what Marsborne are going to hope to do. Hold back this purchase from Voka. Going to be out towards the A-bomb site, and Slump's position as well with Shane moving out first is perfect.
Oh, Wolfie tags Carson out of the round. That's your MVP from the pistol, excuse me. There goes Shane flying, and Wolfie dying immediately at Revenge Sir. But you saw Viz, he was so pushed up there in Ivy, I don't think we mentioned it, all the way to the truck. He's going to have the timing favored, but actually flicks back to get Snav long range on the SMG. Won't be the only frag that happens in that style, but there it is, turning on the backside. There's Grizz with the double, and Marsborne out of trouble. They tie it up at 1-1.
Yeah, those are nice moves. I mean, it's really helpful when Wolfie is taking one gun out of the hand of Voka. Man, it's going to be tough not to be calling them getting info, I'm going to be honest.
Yeah, this is still relatively new. I don't think I've covered them in an event under this name.
I haven't either, despite me being well aware of this change happening right as soon as it happened. But nonetheless, the point I'm making is it's a lot of activity here for Marsborne. They just keep getting a move on. I love how quick Viz is. Sixy wins a critical duel with a 5-7. That's in Z. If he goes down, then you can see Voka try and take that Z positioning, and it's going to be a lot harder for Marsborne to confirm the retake. Instead, he stays alive, works the magic, and we're going to see another force buy, this time from the T side. Mostly going to be Tech 9s, but with a Galil in the mix, it's Shane. This is a very aggressive angle from Chop. Can be fantastic against pistols. That is, if you don't get exposed by a flash.
See these nades coming through, this fresh set of utility right into the face, and I mean, so effective on these B-pops, these pistols, now pulling even further. This hardly takes any time for Voka to get this deep in the site and just deal with it. Grizz got that double kill to level the playing field last time, but they're not gonna lease any little bit of an angle too easily. The Grizz is just gonna chill, and yeah, it's gonna be this type of game, Vinny. Especially where in pace just served toe-to-toe, you're gonna love to see Snav get just that key to the money to the gun rounds here early on this T side. Oh no. What terrible timing that finds Grizz. Come on, Shane. I know you for a body spam. In round 3, we're not doing that. I guess we're too calm today on the Voca side.
Yeah, listen, I do also think that, you know, this is a squad in Voca that certainly is one where you have a lot of high ups, but there's some downs involved in that too. Like the floor can be pretty low as much as the ceiling has some incredible heights. So I think that Carson actually raises that floor really significantly for this team. It allows for a lot of what Snav likes to do to work even better. I love that nade set too from Voca, really setting up a lot of problems potentially for any aggressive pieces that were getting up into the B area. Meantime, it is going to be B that they push, but it's through pop.
Sprinting it down. There's Snav and Carson in a row, but I mean, just whittle these SMGs one by one, and yeah, maybe Grizz's pistol gets a turn just around that corner. Maybe we'll just be satisfied knowing that Snav is up here with nothing to provide, but unaware of Dia's positioning. Snav and Dia just have to group this up. I think even heading out B in this direction is a part of the consideration, but I think just waiting for this contact at any manner, Vinny, they're going to just walk it out.
Yeah.
Pop.
Here's the frustrating thing. Wolfie's just a non-factor in this round because he's pushed in Ivy. And as much as that gives a little bit of info, it's not enough. And I love this snap. Dia, they walk it into Z. 60's going to be aware, but he's got a lot of angles to watch.
There's one spray and then MP9. 60 in vain. Dia also so dangerous on these rifles. But the HP in this situation, it's devious. And nothing is going to be taken here too easily. Denied that pass into B by Grizz just toying with him. And this adjustment is just a little bit too obvious. Even in the smoke in front of Wolfie, you are not fooling him. Back to a tied game. Brody had to speak those words once, Vinny. But just like that, Marsborne survived with a little bit more. This should get the gears turning.
Yeah, and to be honest with you, this train, we talked about stakes, and I don't know if I fully went over kind of the history of this matchup with regard to the vetoes. It's been a train that Marsborne have picked into basically every time that they've been given the opportunity until that last matchup in Eagle Masters where Voca picked into train. Marsborne grabbed an overpass that they won, and it was Ancient that they closed out on. So this is a little bit of a change-up, but don't think about Marsborne as the ones on the back foot in this map. This is a very comfortable Marsborne map, and it has been for a long time. In fact, I would consider this one of the best Wolfie maps.
You just actually made me really sad. You just reminded me of LAG Wolf, who decided to retire this season. What that LAG roster could have became, I really was a fan of them cooking at the beginning of this autumn season. It's obviously real-life circumstances that pull players away from the game. But I can dream, Vinny. I can dream. We click back to resume, assuming on this A site, but it seems like delayed for another 10 seconds unless Slump wants to get this going individually. He's got no support here, so I don't blame him for just standing the way that he is. Re-smoked on that pop dog, too. Slump is not going to respect it.
Oh my gosh. This is crazy here.
Wait, peek off the nade. I'm a fan of this. That's just crazy. Catching them off guard, making them uncomfortable. Out of the smoke again. Slump is going to be slaughtered. CXCI could go for a fourth here. Carson's so low, he could do it on the pistol. But don't line up for this, man. Chop has got your back, and he's gotten 2 in a row as well.
So this is what's so surprising to me about this maneuver for 60 as a player, but individually as well. I really thought that going to the in-game leadership would really make it difficult for him to be such an X factor in the mid-round like that. It's been the opposite. He's just as capable of having that type of impact. It's those types of plays that you'd anticipate from him. You know, it wasn't very long ago that he was leaving a Party Astronauts team where he was like, listen, I need to be the guy who's making those types of moves, and if I can't, then I'm gone.
This is just the rage bait broadcaster bringing up Party Astronauts too. That'll get a couple of tears. Maybe this will jerk me too. I don't know, man. A couple of them falling from my eyes. That was a little bit too quick for me, Vinny. Just like that. Get him sprinted out, cleaned out like that, just in the blink of an eye. Less than like 15 seconds there.
It's finally Marsborne who win on the full purchase round. Make sure that they aren't going to be bested by a force buy, and now an eco upcoming. Get a look into this is maybe we can take a little breath. I mean,
that would be needed.
A little sigh of relief here, because it's been nothing but punches being thrown top to bottom in this map thus far. And listen, strap in. If you didn't expect that, well, that's what you should.
Clean kill coming through Pop. It's Grizz that has lost the vision, but Shane will equip. I mean, this far for it, Wolfie didn't distract, didn't actually decide to deal, but to flick back to it. Stuck in Olaf with Shane. It's CXCI that comes over and is making this thing look pretty snappy off of our really, really heated start, Vinny. It's Marsborne that are starting to pull ahead of this because they have got to look back at that Dust 2 Eagles Masters Grand Final and wonder, I don't know what happened in this train official other than the last one. Dude was really one-sided on that second map, and even Marsborne knowing that it's a common hood in this getting info, Voca camp.
There it is. You know, it's interesting.
It's going to happen.
May I speculate a moment, Mark?
You can.
Thank you.
Observer's killing it tonight, by the way.
That is true. Absolutely have been nailing it. What I was going to say, my speculation, that Eagle Masters final comes right off of, to be honest, I think a pretty disappointing showing at Knockout. Not that Marsborne really did anything, lost to anyone they wouldn't expect to lose to, right? M80, I think that's expected. They even took a map off them, which I think super legit. But in reality, I think they were disappointed. I think this is a Marsborne team coming back off a land high as opposed to a land low, right? I mean, you beat Saul. Saul win on land. Like, that's legit. And also a huge VRS bump, too.
Yeah, Saul came all the way over to North America to lose one spot in ranking. I don't know how many points that equivalated to, but
probably a few, actually, given where they're at in the VRS. But I have to double check. It's a big gun round, though. So we focus back in. There's no op in Dia's hands, but Wolfie maintained his.
Snap a great shot up close and personal. Finally to see him get average back when he left that boss roster, hopped back into getting info. He just happened to be one of the highest rated players here. Been kind of quiet since CXCI been having this great of a start to a game. Wolfie 1v3, coming back in this A site already. This hit pretty potent, and it'll probably just not go for much more, especially that we are aware of old Wolfie's positioning. Not a bad nade, but I think he'll be walking backwards on the way out. Don't trip.
Yeah, it's a critical moment there in T-Con, basically, and towards Olaf, where 60 goes down. Trying to punish him has been a huge deal for Voca. They've been trying to do that and honestly struggling to. But yeah, it's the first of what I would imagine to be many huge moments from Shane as well, where, you know, he's fighting through flashes. It's a tough spot that he's working as the entry, essentially, from Pop. Leads into big win. Oh, and I don't know why Wolfie's making that swing. To be honest, I think he heard Dia, but yeah, it's a frustrating loss. It's not going to be too big a deal for this round, but, you know, more of a long-term problem potentially starting to arise with finally Voca going to get on the board with a gun round victory. It's been scrappy otherwise.
That save moment reminds me of, well, watch it. I'm not going to lie and say I watched Chengdu live. It was at like 4 in the morning for me. And, well, we had to get up and cast, Vinny, but I was watching the highlights back, and there was a moment where, just in the saves, Mezzi gets a very big cheer after denying Molidoy his save. And that's just the vibe that gives me. Wolfie chased down there at the end. Obviously very happy to get that op too, is what I'm saying. Dia collects it there. Wolfie will just,
yeah, I mean,
he's got plenty of that money, but not much more.
Yeah, I would argue probably the #1 opper in the region from a perspective of like promise, like what he could do, the heights that he can show. And, you know, I'm putting that as, you know, maybe an ambitious statement, considering, you know, Exotic doing a great job right now. There's a lot of positive signs elsewhere, but that's just honestly the fate that I've seen from Dia before.
put a bookmark in that because, oh, I got some thoughts, but maybe there's example A. Dia sticking out like a sore thumb in the front of the pack. He's entering with the op on this B site, and Marsborne aren't going to be able to really grasp for much more here. I mean, unless Grizz has just presented a kill in the next couple of seconds for free, I'm not going to be assuming we're going to be going for much more. Wolfie in the backside will keep them honest in Brown Halls, but this isn't a kill that he's going to be looking to stitch a second to. He's going to be safe to fall back, Vincent. But, I mean, look at Voka. All of a sudden, a couple of really good hits in a row. That which of the clean variety. I'm going to need Marsborne to actually get out and save these guns this time. But I'm a fan in the rhythm that Snab is putting up so far.
Yeah, I mean, it's never been a question mark about Snab's calling ability. He's always been quality. And to be honest with you, this is an iteration of a Snab-led team that I feel like, and maybe it's just me imagining it, because to be honest with you, it wouldn't surprise me if this team didn't practice all that much, but it feels like they are a lot more well-drilled than previous iterations of, you know, this type of roster. I don't know. How do you feel? Do you feel that that's ringing true?
I would say it definitely comes to the point where I see the level that this Voca team is getting, and of course the earn factor of, I mean, they've just reached organization support again. Like I remember traveling to one of these Fragadelphia lands in the past year, and when Snab was working with Fruit Cup X and obviously the boss roster, they got that Blue Jays attention. I remember it was such a relief for them. And I know that with this Getting Info roster, like, you know, obviously, I mean, Snab leaving that after obviously a big shakeup of, you know, the boss core losing that in an awkward situation, you know, keeping Freshie on, and then moving back to, you know, his familiar team, you know, the guys that he had been rocking with for the majority time of his career in, you know, this Timberman project. And I think very, very happy to find this organization support for the first time since Elevate.
Yeah, I mean, it's been a while. That's all the way back to, I mean, mid-2024 when that ended, if I'm not mistaken. It's a big opener for Wolfie, though. Really reaching deep into the pocketbook for this one. Second shot's going to miss, but Grizz rifle tag team is perfect.
Yeah, they need those advantages. Shane, a player that can actually stick out and just make his life a little bit worth more than the awkward advantage that he's going to try and rope back to. Doesn't get anything sticking out too crazily back to me. Oh boy, does he get excited about this. Shane can turn the corner, and he should get a double kill onto Chop. Slams, and this is where Voca can throw away that man advantage that they let go to Marsborne. They can just actually let out a sigh for the next 50 seconds. This B site now presented to them, it's too easy of a decision right now, and I think that is what slows them down. They consider elsewhere.
And Wolfie, he made the rotation really quickly. There's still much to do. Viz has claimed an AK. That's from the early round man advantage that's just been turned back courtesy of Shane. Carson now seeing a little bit of a wide open Ivy is going to be a little bit suspicious, and he's about to get a freebie. Viz should be dead. Oh, but Viz, he's actually stepped forward right into the perfect location.
Slump and Carson all at the same time. 5 versus 3 we're talking about here. Grizz is going to be walking this way. It's practically a journey to search that wide back and around like this. And yeah, I can just tell you from the body language right now, looking the way Grizz is walking, he ain't attempting this round. It's a 5 versus 3 win back for a 5-5 that Voca are just so demanding to put up right away. A 5 versus 3, Vincent. And on the first attempt, they don't even get anything for Shane looking for frags outside. He gets them both back in Brown Halls, and that's taking advantage of a mistake rather than summoning an opportunity, looking for something off of a made play.
I mean, I don't even want to call it a big mistake there for Marsborne. I think the mistake is getting aggressive, if you want to call it that. But damn, is it unlucky timing that Sixy gets caught, and it's the lack of a trade that's really painful, that makes that really frustrating. But there's a darn good reason why you want Shane, you know, as a part of this team that can activate mid-round rather than have to be the initiating factor. It's that, right? He can pull back any disadvantage. And as much as this was set up for success, I mean, that's how the round opens, and then this timing is brutal. Shop can't provide anything. At least Grizz can escape with this gun. Well, if he actually had money for an op, though, it's cost him heavily. He's a glass cannon. And they'll go for the tac pause as well to, I'm hoping, try and figure out how they want to facilitate an aggressive move with Wolfie's op. That's what I'm hoping for. Alternatively, could do that with a couple of these rifles and or SMGs, but it's got to be something to get them moving into a round where it's going to be tough otherwise.
I mean, Wolfie statistically has just been so insane ever since giving up the op 2. This is exactly what he wanted. I talked to him back at Blocktober, and he was just so excited to kind of, focus on himself, be a little selfish, right? Maybe we shun players for being otherwise. We can't all be Sanji. Here, take all my money. Here's this MP9. I'll rock the USP. Look, he gets to ball up and frag. I think I get a little bit carried away with that reference, but he's happy to do it. A little bit of a slow start to train, but this is a challenging series.
I mean, listen, get to look at a version of him that I feel like I hadn't seen in a year or two. That's the other thing.
And I have a question. What are the odds they had a proper practice day, warm up? They probably all got off planes this morning coming back from New Jersey.
Yeah, I mean,
part of the
absolutely.
Life. That's worth noting. It's a part of the life. It could be weighing them down. It's no excuse.
No, and listen, I'll add to that as well, and this might be considered making some of those excuses, but I assure you it is not. It's not just that one event. The weekend before, we're working an Atlanta
YOC
DreamHack as well, and then you add to that they were playing in 2 different events over the week in between. So, yeah, it's been a busy day, or a few weeks.
They're loving that life. Ever since this Marsborne organization rooted up at some point last year, sent them to all the Fragadelphias, but they have kept their VRS core up by earning those opportunities, staying consistent here. So yeah, I'm speaking these words right after they lose a 5 versus 3, but he's sprinting in. This is Carson with the bomb plan, and it's not doable. Hiding away is Dia with his op now, and around this corner, there was the revenge for that save earlier in the first half not going Wolfie's way. He's got his op back and maybe the last laugh of the first half. We'll see how this goes.
I mean, 6E claiming an AK at the very last second there. And of course, Dia, he's not going to have a great buy. It's a Galil, only a couple of bits of utility that he can afford. Everyone else just fine. But I will say, T-side on train, I think Voka already doing a great job. They're already feeling good at the minute. It could be even better. 6, a tied score, honestly would be poetic after what we've been seeing.
Person so far. I mean, Wolfie, there's no way you're aware of this, but instant muscle memory instincts. So close in the quarters here. Wolfie will be good to bowl that one up. Slump here.
My slump.
Had a quiet
walk
start.
through.
We've loved seeing him and what he's been able to do in these lurks on the later editions of Getting Info, and the beginning of Voka here gets a lot of impact with what he finds on the site. It's room to actually get this bomb down. Grizz is, fighting for a lot here at the back of this oil train and confident to do so, to just walk this way. The entire timing he's getting 4-3'd. Just like that, Wolfie knows he's right up above, and it's the same damn feeling. Isolation in the flick. It's missed. Wolfie right up top. No surprise to Snap. I was saying that Wolfie might get the last laugh. I was wrong. That is Snap. That will hold it at a tied game. We get a 3-minute halftime. Coming off of Marsborne's CT side, we got no sort of advantage. You can say that Snav and Co. maybe survived, and now they're on the easier bit of this train. Vinny and Slump, through the smoke, has got that opener on the tracks.
I'd certainly make that argument. We'll see if they can pull no punches. Ooh. Oh my gosh, Carson, stop it. It's already looking good.
Skates out of the fire. At least Chop can get this bomb down and guarantee the force. You know what's up. And Grizz, he's got to turn up just like Carson did in that pistol. I mean, just forcing their will in this B site. It's a game of attrition. It's a game of this room. This what? Chop goes back and he beams Shane on the dome. That is just ridiculous. And it's this close again, but it's going to have to be more from the closer, from the anchor. This is his wheelhouse, Vincent, so we know Chop can do it. The 4 HP and just the flying snap. It's gonna have to be Chop that backs up. 1v1, and he's juked him out. This is a 7th round that connects for Marsborne, and it looks that easy. You were talking about a 4K from somebody. I was calling for Grizz. It happened to be Chop in the end.
I mean, that is an incredible round out of Chop. Seriously, he hits everything he needed to. Decision-making is perfect. And talk about 5-on-3s? Well, how about one, but for the T's? It's all for Marsborne this time, and a 1v3 clutch as well for Chop, who seriously has stepped up his game. I felt like at a time not 6 months ago in this roster's history for Marsborne, I didn't want it to be the case, but I thought Chop might be the guy to go when they were looking to make some changes, because he had struggled a little bit, but it's he who stepped back up, he who makes the difference, and a 1vx in a pistol round that really meant a lot. Oh my gosh. I feel like it's stunned
early. Yeah, no kidding. Way to walk and move forward with that. You got to get him force tatted up, Vinny. It better be a pretty dang good idea. I'm out of words over here. I know you're feeling the same.
You know, it's interesting. I think that previously this team not really into tack timeouts, but they've got Simfist by their side now. And I think that's something that's changed. It's that timeout there that tells me that. Now just got a ton of info, but he isn't changing this, and he's still alone.
Shane long range gets on the fizz. Gonna try and sneak in a bomb plant, but guess what? We got coverage. So Snav back tapping from up top. How is this man still alive? Yeah, not for long. That's a kill they needed. Because look at the incoming disaster, the incoming numbers. Chop, you better get ready to go 2 times in a row. And I'm talking about the ace clutch this time. Presented with the low HP Slump, but that's actually who's going to be catching this uppercut and the 4K on 9 HP. You go from a 6-7 scoreline to a 7-7.
You know, I think what's crazy about that is that Snav doesn't get any kills, but he actually won them that round in so many ways, right? Slump deserves a lot of credit too, who's, you know, finding a multi. He actually had a really tough first half. He was like 0-7 at some point, but, you know, it's a recovery already. But the fact that Snav stays alive for so long, he does a ton of damage. He gets basically 4 players looking at him, so that the start of that retake has easy mode engaged. It's actually really impressive. And as you say, tied game, I'm not at all surprised to see it once more. I mean, it was the case at halftime. We had like 2-2, 3-3. This has been tied pretty much all the way.
You got Shane playing in this B-side anchor role right now. I gotta see how he stands up to it. Molotov that he's gonna be able to spike down, and Shane may be a little bit frustrated with that. I wouldn't blame him. Not even able to get out the utility before he goes down. This is Marsborne refreshing your memory as to the beginning of that B site hit and how it was going for you. Easy call to just go ahead and save these guns. Dish up into Ivy, and this is giving me the vibes of how the first half of Train went out and played. Had a little ping pong for the first couple of rounds, and then one team took it and kept stepping. If that's Marsborne doing that once again, then this is a big problem for Vocat.
Yeah, I'm pretty happy with how on both sides of the equation, but for this T side in both directions, they've been able to facilitate some of those quicker maneuvers and make some really good success, even over towards the B bomb site. One of the harder sites to approach for sure. Catch Shane lacking. Snav, he's the rotator. He just doesn't get a chance to play the game. Dinked and then donked out of the round. We'll get a Marsborne scoreline up by 1. And that's really been the most we've really seen. Not actually true, but in essence, it's just about stayed this way the whole way of Train. As a reminder, I think this is must win for getting info.
Oh, what a move by Shane. That's slick right here. The type of timing he's got to take to get that is a little bit more difficult than it looks. They're helping him. They're handing him a little bit more utility. I think it must have been off of the run boost to get there before them. Still adamant about hooking Shane out of this. But blocking him is also an option, but it's momentary. Contact onto Carson as well. And an exchange of HEs. This is Shane just trying to shuffle out. Can't lose his life without getting a frag first. But he knows that Marsborne are just neck deep in their default. Knowing that Brown Halls is a part of the procedure.
Honestly, though, I think that Voca lose out on that. I mean, eventually, like, they invested a lot of utility to make that happen. And now it's a 4-on-4. Diaz moving back over. This is Exec comes through.
Carson looks like he was playing perfect anti-flash. They have different layers, multiple, in fact, to catch you off in that fray. Good entries, great procedures here by Marsborne to make this look like another easy decision by Snav and Co. to tuck these guns in the trunk and save away. Snav will try and get this gun back from Shane's cold corpse. It's the best thing you can do at this point.
Yeah, he's got it. So it doesn't really shape up the way I was proposing, but yeah, for Marsborne, they eventually track Shane down, and it is ultimately a 1-for-1. Some good damage done, like a pretty wide array of it, in fact, that Shane was able to facilitate, but I think ultimately Marsborne still come out the better. It's a great attack. Carson gets exposed. As you said, it looked like he was anti-flash. I think somehow got caught by the second flash from heaven.
Terrorists win.
Dia, who was meant to be the snake in the grass to just pop out and strike when no one was looking, he gets dinked off rip. That must have been Grizz. We'll have a 9-7 scoreline where for Voca, I mean, the question of how to approach this is hard, but it seems kind of to me like they're just going to eco around these saved guns, though. Ooh, oh, very brief tech pause. We're back already.
Makes me happy. Okay.
JK.
Take as much time as you need, boys.
You've made Mark sad.
I got plenty of yapping material. As you can see, the animation cord was plugged back in. Usually a safe fix, Vincent. I know you have a past in IT.
It's true.
How do I
Vincent
fix
approved.
everything? I've ran out of rice.
Unplug it, plug it back in.
There you go. What the hell? Misclick.
Yeah, it's gotta be. No, see, under previous circumstances, I'd say he missed the bind, but
Yes, he missed his jump by, but those have been outlawed.
get him out of here.
I like this setup into Ivy. Take a little bit of interest in it, as Marsborne did. Vincent, there are a lot of teams that we watch over in the tier 2 and 3 in Europe that, I mean, just love getting active in Ivy just like this on a much more consistent basis. They haven't called it up once in this half. I've really seen a little amount of attention given to this part of the map here, but it's like Marsborne lose their spine in this round. They can barely stand up without the bomb and without T-Con control. They can hardly get back to their spawn here with safety.
I mean, listen, it's not really like that. It is exactly that, really. Yeah, Marsborne have lost everything. I won't lie, for Voca, it's an ambitious strategy. They push on two very key extremities, Ivy and T-Con at the same time. But as you could see, how uncomfortable that made Marsborne almost instantaneously. And I mean, I know 60 and Chop are looking at this like they're going for it, but to be honest, they're not.
It's a little more.
And if they do, that would be silly.
That is Viz, correct?
On where?
On the ground. Who just looked at right there.
Oh,
might have been looking at your notes.
I was looking at the mini-map trying to figure out what you were talking about. You were giggling, and I was like staring at my mini-map. Like, what? Huh?
No, I'm just laughing at something uninteresting. Time passes, so does the round. Marsborne will lose it. A very good play that I gotta really assume that was called up from spawn, saying if we don't get this contact, don't get slump and this corner active with Dia right rushing towards Ivy, then we're just gonna push it. I mean, why not? That's the entire idea of the play, and that's what brings them this far. Another timeout. We're gonna hear from old Semphis and Lucid. What do you got to say, boys?
Yeah, it's actually, I think, trying to do the maths. This is like second or third attack pods here for the side of Voka. I'm thinking it might have been even the third. Either way, yeah, that's something else that they had done right ahead of the previous round. Also keeping in mind that last round was a half buy. They had saved those guns and they didn't invest otherwise. So it's like huge value that Voka just got out of that. Was one of the first rounds at Marsborne, looked to slow the pace down a little bit and punish big time. Curious to see if Marsborne want to keep the pace high based on that, or if they want to actually, I mean, they're running out of time to actually set up a default and start telling a story. We're getting deep into this half.
Yeah, a little time to write this next chapter. It's already starting to bleed through on Marsborne's end, which is a good thing. You're cheering for that T side to take this thing away. This B side just been where these bridges burned for Voka just so many times consistently. Waited this round out, had this figured out towards Ivy. Marsborne able to sort of get off of the skiff this time, at least jump off of the block into the water. But when they swim, Vinny, it gets complicated. I mean, it's rocky here in B already. Viz is going to get that next look. Grizz here is going to have to stand up with a performance of a first half Grizz, and he's just gonna get taken out at the back of oil. Maybe I'm asking for a little bit too much, maybe of Marsborne at this point, because this is a tied game in dramatic fashion, and that's the end of their money.
Yeah, that one's disappointing. You'd think with how much space they got for free, they walk it up B, walk through a smoke, nobody's the wiser on the Voka side until Carson gets a rude awakening when there's bullets flying at the side of his skull, and he's like, where did they come from? Well, he's able to survive, not quite on the money, and it's Lucid this time who's calling for the tac pause. There's a lot of history here. Been talking about it again and again, but over the last, 3 months between these two teams, they have played 3 best of 3s, and all of them have been for Marsborne. Voka know that they've got to do something to change, but you know what happens over that time as well, Mark? You build up a lot of understanding about how your opponents like to play, and you can get into their head, but it works both ways.
I mean, these specific additions been so commonly played up against each other. With CXCI, right, Grizz, Chop, these guys been playing against Snav, Carson, Slump. Maybe not Slump, actually. Shane and Snav and Dia. Dude, I'm gonna put another asterisk. Maybe not Dia for years either. He's a little bit newer in the last 3. Slump as well in the last year or 2. That's what I mean. So familiar with how we're playing against this tempoed Snav calling style on multiple different rosters. This definitely the most notable, the most time spent playing with these players. Dia, there's an ankle scene and a pretty easy adjustment up to the top of that trash can for Grizz.
Yeah, this is where, Voka getting an opportunity to start running away with this thing. been Marsborne in control of their T-side fates more than often. Dude, what about that? It's down right on the money.
It's about to be their third in a row here, sending it off in the eco. Complete clean fashion. Still yet to come down here. Snap surviving on 1 HP. You devil. That's how he'll stay up to keep that line just so high in double digits first here. It's Marsborne's map selection. They've sort of served this one back and forth. Or am I incorrect?
No, you're incorrect.
Train called up right here at the beginning of the series by Voka. I was about to say getting info. Woohoo. But the entire time I was pitching up this to be Marsborne's map pick, so I apologize. I was incorrect.
Well, listen, you're not all that crazy though. This was Marsborne's map pick the first
correct
two times of the 3 that these guys have played. So, you know, you could be forgiven for thinking that. It's only last time, 13-4, that Voka was able to win it, that they have now gone back to this.
Chop and Snav right back. Aggressive through Pop Dog. Talking about these extremities and being interested in them. Slump here. Waiting for the lurk outside of hell. But what is about to funnel right into his AK? The flames out from Marsborne potentially being extinguished right out of this corner. You know that's that step taken by Fizz, but off of the flash, he even gets a little bit of help, and now off the nade, just gonna bully Wolfie back into the barrel. 4 rounds in a row sent and delivered by this Voka team. Maybe one more on the back end. Wolfie can at least warn Slump to stay back. But off of that, I don't think he's afraid. This is getting info, looking scarily similar to a couple of these other officials that we've seen in these best of 3s that you mentioned Marsborne has taken. It hasn't been so easy on these trains.
Yeah, it's always been close. I mean, put it that way. Dominant in the series outcomes for Marsborne, but not anywhere close to that when you're talking about map to map. Every map has been competitive between these 2 guys basically all the way through. But it's right at the end here. And let me just mention as well, Slump, a guy that I think has really gone unnoticed in this game for good reason. The T side pretty ugly, not great, but on the T side, I think it's where he's actually had some struggles moving over to the rifle, but his CT sides have been really good.
A great compliment to players like Shane and Carson on these extremities. Talking about Shane and Carson, well, they're almost out of this thing. Shane is gonna have to come back with Dia and make things possible, but held to his own adjustment. It's Grizz that can break Marsborne out of the last couple of rounds. It was 4 in a row. Locked up in this cycle, back from Voka. You're right. He does not have the bomb. Gone and collected now, but shifted so further back on this A site with so much to already grab. He may just fake it at the back of the bomb site, but he sticks this plant, and he's gonna activate it, and right back shifts to go and check back to Shane, blown to bits. A headshot perforating through, Shane responsible for it. 12 rounds here locked up for Voka first.
And it's what Marsborne allowed. They understood that that was the risk that they're running when they eco in this critical junction of the map. They knew that that was possible. But they're betting on victory right here and now, that they can win 3 in a row to push this to overtime. We've seen varying overtime games here. Not on train, not yet, but this could be the time that changes. It's got to be now, though, for Marsborne. They don't have any more mistakes to make.
This is where this opener was through Pop Dog and Snav last time, around 21. Grouped up in Ivy. Was speaking about earlier in the half the importance of this position. Team Voka is showing exactly how far that can actually get serialized into the beginning of a first half. So far, not even touching it yet. I mean, it's been Slump that's just been right around it for the momentary play. They took advantage. And with that smoke right, oh goodness, what a timing that we see Snap just slide in that corner.
And this is a great spot too. Likely to be unchecked.
He's barrel. Snap takes his first fight, and A4 will just chop you to mincemeat. Unreal double kill from Snap. Pulls back. Wolfie been so consistent on these quick scopes here. Close quarters as well. Still battling in an awkward man advantage or Voka. Wolfie with the bomb too.
I mean, Dia's the next up here. Chop's not going to get vision, but instead, Wolfie walks right into his crosshair. And that honestly should be curtains for the round. 20 seconds. Marsborne have to figure out a way to get Dia out of this, but a missed shot, that might just do it. Chop, he's got to get moving. And unfortunately, that might be the end of the line.
Right here, it should be Snav just turns tail and runs, and it's not even needed. The rest of Voka can just stand so confidently alongside him. It's a 13-9 at the end of that day.
But the execution that was a little bit lacking. The other thing that they're going to have to get over is starting out on the T side. I think this is one of the, and I think you and I disagree on this, but I think this is one of the harder T sides to start on in the entire map pool.
Yeah, 100%. This is going to be extremely difficult for Marsborne to kind of actually set the strands exactly how they would like to find them astray. These pistols have been a very big point of the problem, splitting them every which way, so close up until the end, right? It was Marsborne that ended up taking both of them back on train, but it's looking a little bit different here already. This bathroom setup has throw in hands, and 3 players going to be caught out with it. This is going to be bringing Grizz and CXCI to a stop.
Carson. Oh, he's not going to get the vision, but Carson, he's right behind him. He's going to get a back turn. That's the bomb dropped as well. So it's all up to 60. NGL's got a clutch, a 1v3.
Checks back into Carson. Not peeking. Not too obvious to the start of it. Gonna go and investigate on his 9. Making some steps. Making his positioning known. So he assumes to a player that might be close in bathrooms, up on the bomb site. Whatever 60 is imagining, it's just not the reality at the moment. He's going to get this site alone bomb plant with the smoke to cloak him to go back to wherever he's going to want to fight from, Vincent. And with all this cover back towards CT, there's your first point of contact. No armor either. So it's going to have to be clean fights out of these dualies, which is not an easy task. They're going to be getting close up to him. And right now, tapping on that bomb while the smoke is still up. Carson has the kid on his back. It's a 5-second defuse, and they're just going to work it out just like that. I mentioned at the beginning of this round that both of those pistols went the way of Marsborne on train. We have new beginnings here on Overpass.
Yeah, Voka taking that one. And listen, there's a reason that they were fine to allow for a bomb plant to come down. It's because they have that kit. A lot of additional ability to retake, given that extra 5 seconds. And with that, we will be seeing a forest buy. There's just no change in that fashion. I mean, every single time we saw an opportunity to force, both on Marsborne and on Voka's side, they did it. So this is no surprise at all. Gonna see them all towards the B site, but it's already starting in Carson's favor.
Here's your force. This is already foiled through one man in his peak. Carson loving the advantage that he has just given Shane to just look back and forth from and just wonder where it went wrong. In one pop, one foul spray through Monster to take 2 of those players. You're talking about one of the hardest T-sides to get started on in general in the map pool right now, Vincent, and already off to a 2-0 start. Battered down what was a pretty easy pistol round, let's be real, for this Voka squad at the end of the day. Here they shut down the force, though, like it's nothing.
Yeah, I mean, listen, that's classic Carson, trying to get aggressive and fight like that. He gets some flashes out that's really disruptive to what Marsborne were hoping to do. They're stuck setting up a little bit of utility, caught by some of those flashbangs as well, and it's pretty difficult to try and break through from that. I mean, a different type of aggression, but it's still forward positioning here for Shane and Slump as they take short side, but they're not going to stick around there. For Marsborne, they have to give up the gambit early this time. Just some upgraded pistols for this round. There's no Kevlar behind it, but I mean, pay attention. These deagles can be deadly.
Showed by Viz. Really not loving this feeling for Snav at the moment. I knew my gut was trying to tell me something. CXCI with 2 dangerous deagle kills. This round's over. Save these guns away if you know what's good for you. Oh, one little P250 versus the world. Do it to him, please. Oh, come on. This would just be catastrophic. Carson just been untouchable in this B site. Yo, stop peeking this guy. He's going to spam the clip in, get a reload in time. Grizz whip it back and forth. Feed the beast. Carson might just get the ace here at the end. Keeping peeking him. CXCI says, I'm going to give you the respect. Go out with the fight. And Carson ace to say goodnight. Not going to pull this round out, but yeah, fair foul warning.
I mean, that's the thing. As much as Carson getting an ace there, like, it does matter. There's a lot of reasons why this is important, but the fact that it doesn't change the reality that Marsborne have won that round, investing nearly nothing. It's Sixie's deagle, and I mean, incredible shots as well. A team effort for sure. I was a little bit scared, to be honest with you, Mark, as I saw the way that Voca were kind of on their own out today, and that's a setup that's going to be pretty normal for CT side Overpass, but certainly exploitable, and Marsborne show why.
Sub almost hitting pretty close to home on that spam through connector. Easy start. Grizz wanting to get all of this control back. You know, as many circumstances, I even feel like the comfortability of Carson and what he was, you know, meant to do on that NRG squad just made it to where he couldn't find himself in the way that, I mean, he's functioning on this Voca. Now, excuse me, I was going to say it in reverse. This getting info now. Voca roster, I mean, it's been very successful for him. Again, a guy like Slump that I think is going to show off way more to those that are, I mean, watching this down by down and seeing every second of this game.
Yeah, big adjustment for Slump as well. In sort of a similar way, but just, you know, as a much younger player with a lot more time.
It's like just yesterday I was watching him at Frag 18, his first LAN.
Hopping at that point.
For Brett.
Yes, indeed. Who's Brett playing for right now? Bet you don't know.
I believe it was Outfit 49 last time I checked. Didn't attend LAN with them this weekend, unfortunately. They actually suffered a lot in the VRS for some of those reasons. B-hit, up in tow. Marsborne, they want to take one of these away sometime, someplace. Snap 1v3. And I feel like they should have earned it now. Should have is the tail for it. No instant pivot back to 6C. Gets a triple kill to end it out. This man is the in-game leader. But also the entry duo alongside Grizz. And that's where you needed to kind of break the rules a little bit role-wise to find where this roster, you know, could keep coming. Take a little bit of pressure off Wolfie. Unfortunately, Matum, the guy that had to kind of take a step down because of those decisions. And I know that I duly miss him. When I got to tune into Cup 3, Vincent, I was casting with Apples, and we were joking that because of the roster restrictions, it was actually Matum that had to play instead of CXCI. It was at the same time that I was watching Rain replace Jacob in Pro League. Like, for that 1 week, I'm like, he's running it back. This is the last dance in the same way.
They're the same, but different, is
yes,
what you're saying.
Much more humorously, and Matum is our GOAT in NA, much like Rain is all over the world. I hope he finds a new team. I'm not sure what his plans are for the future.
Yeah, this did feel like a maybe not like last dance or anything, but definitely
a chiller,
a project.
Though. I love to see him at all these events. You know, back when it was goodness, I remember they were working with former Cloud9 manager under Undone. I mean, what a line that ended up coming into, obviously, this brand. Talking about Danon, that was. There's 6E going back and forth with those shots. Viz even connects. You want to know a weird fun fact? I remember when Stunna coached these guys at Frag 18 under the Undone tag. That was a freaky Friday.
I agree.
Skadoodle broke his back. We had to literally bus in. Who was it? Oh, goodness me. McTaggart, Taggy, had to get him in overnight practically. It was like a It was like a split-second decision for him, he told me, I remember at the time. Replaced Skadoodle, who had a back injury. Him and Steel were rocking with it. Steel's in...
Aggie.
He was just in Chengdu, man. A different job he has.
That's true. Taggy is the superest of subs,
Yes,
I feel.
true. Flash into short. Enough said, I feel like, about the history of Marsborne. There's plenty more, which is, I feel like, one of the reasons why they become a quick fan favorite in NA. All the lore behind. Here goes Snap. Checks into Grizz. One of their more storied players, CXCI, alongside, and definitely in that same vein, that's for sure. I've been following this guy for years now. It's this double kill and evens things up even to a more of an awkward advantage where, look, I'm not so comfortable with Snap being in the place that he is. That solves things.
Carson getting punished for playing a little too aggressive there. I mean, his play style is that, but he is spamming an entire magazine through that smoke and then not falling back is crazy.
Since his ace, he has died 3 times.
Okay,
I would also let my ego get a little turn from that. Take a little over peek and Mullidoy action, you know?
You can't do that. Not when your ace was against players who were just running at you and you were saving.
Dia, I don't think they're going to be expecting him here, especially on the top of the shadow. It's going to be a grenade scene, but he knows what type of process he got to get on. This man just has a sixth sense about where Wolfie happens to be, and he can just so play in the mind as an opera knows how the other will act. Same breed. It's just Dia that's going to walk it up. Can't see through the smoke, so will stay sturdy and stay steady on his decision to flank through Monster.
Can't believe he walked that away. I really thought that was going to be going there. And now there's some danger, actually, because Wolfie's gotten out to graffiti. The problem is Dia has a smoke, not a kit, but that's going to be enough to probably buy some time. Never mind. Wolfie hold the line. And Dia never utilized those tools at his disposal. Marsborne are all the way back.
There's your Swedish-American opper, former captain of this roster, putting through, has barely been missing tonight. I feel like when we've been up in his POV, especially on train, close quarters, it's just been feeling it. I mean, on paper, has put up ridiculous stats in the last 41 maps with a 1.3 rating in the 3.0 system. Really says a lot. This man has been just utterly dominant.
I really think that Wolfie's stat line on train looked bad, but wasn't at all.
He has a
I think he was like 9 and 15.
land rating. Sorry for cutting you off. I wanted to make that more legit for him since they have played 3 lands in the last month here. Snap trying to look up top and 60 will spray him down. That's their only premium rifle also cut up for Voka, so that's a big loss.
Yeah, it's the one that Snap put claim onto a moment ago. Big find out of Chop. That's going to reasonably cut the chances of victory for this round pretty significantly. Marsborne, this T side, it's really been firing on all cylinders. I've been quite impressed. Obviously, that 1v1 win in the last round for Wolfie is a huge success. But you tag team that clutch with the eco win. Marsborne are winning when it counts, and that's on the hardest type of situations. It's those critical moments that I think really define rounds. You can think back to Train, where it was 3 guns saved and a couple of USPs that we saw Voka win with. I think that's one of those critical moments. Well, I don't think it's going to be one here for Shane, 1v4.
Too close here. There's 60. Around the corner, still in front bathrooms to keep you honest, Sir Shane. 5 here from the quote difficult T side that we both agreed to at the beginning of this game, Vincent. While it is difficult and we keep those odds high, man, that's not going to stop 60 from personally affecting the game at 12-4, but also making sure that Marsborne is running like a well-oiled machine.
And to be honest with you, it's really not been a long default that is typical of this map. There's been a lot of quicker plays, and it's very much because Voka play aggressively. So Marsborne themselves are playing to counter Voka right now.
There's Carson through the smoke like the beginning of the half. They're not coming B this time, though. You're just going to be thanking Lady Luck for it, dude. Keep going. Keep giving praise. You might get a third. Who knows how nice it will be. Naughty from Carson early. That's double-digit frags for him. Viz, in a place where he hasn't actually crossed up to. Awkward on that next step. He was just trying to cause distraction. Duo it up are Wolfie and Grizz, but there is Grizz off that next tag and will be out, frozen from it. Wolfie 1v3. I think with his chances at B looking this dull, he's gonna assume elsewhere.
I mean, if he starts to get a move on here, this could be the right call. Snav making the move back up, but at minimum, he's going to split the defense by hesitating. And there could be a little bit of something more to this as well. If they get curious and push up short, Wolfie leaving. Snav's already made it into front bath. He's in a prime position now. 28 seconds. Bomb on back. Wolfie going to give this up.
Yeah, I'm surprised he doesn't attempt it at all. With his current form and, you know, we're only out for entertainment, right? We're the casters. Come on, we want chaos. That type of money in the bank, he could have afforded it. Not a part of the Marsborne expectation unit for where we're getting this economically, Vinny. But Wolfie would rather have the guarantee. Up in round 9. Marsborne rollover. But that's a really good win. And so far, a couple of these for Voka on this overpass have came out of the Magic Carson.
I mean, really, all of them have, if you think about it. You know, the pistol round is the only one that really doesn't apply to. It's been tons of multi-kills, and otherwise, outside of the pistol, it's been Carson who has delivered those. So, absolutely impressive. Full nade set. Shout out our observers once again catching that. We get the early setup that Voka have been throwing every round towards A. And Carson, okay, he's going to fall back. One of the moves that Carson likes to make, they did this on NRG a lot too, is throw that deep smoke and then get a flash and just walk through it.
Simple but seizing when they have the right opportunity. Got to play anti-flash here. And what a sequence for Grizz to find Carson, but Shane to get both. Who's really winning here? The next set of utility thrown up by Marsborne, and they're going to be focused towards short. Shane can fully just wipe Monster out of his mind for the next couple of seconds here. Completely reorganized. This Voka team to understand where Marsborne are going to be headed in the next couple of seconds. Out of the drought of Monster, sure, Carson isn't here, but Shane will still stare you down, and it's just ducking multiple angles at the moment. Permanent damage done to Viz, but Chop right next door. Slum has to immediately strangle this attention, and all of a sudden a 1v2 turned 1v1. It was Chop that actually got that out, and now needs to go and actually sit this through. On the hook from Dia, but now dishing out 1v1 that he's willing to take and do a little bit more than challenge on the op. Switches to the rifle, and Chop, he has no idea. Dia just bests him in the 1v1, gets mobile, more than Chop imagined, and we're well within one. Vincent almost gets his hands on the op at the end here. Voka are going to be loving this attention at the beginning, in the middle of our first half.
Yeah, this is incredible work out of Shane, who actually gets a dink off onto a third man before he goes down. Shane, difficult to deal with late into that round, and the Dia clutch added insult to injury. There was no more utility once it became a 3-on-4, and that's the problem for Marsborne. They really found it hard to fight through. This A site been left pretty much open for the time being. A lot of B-centric approaches. It's been about fighting short, about pushing back on what we've seen from Voka. And it's a significant pushback the Slump gets in the form of a nade dropped on his head. It's max damage. 53. He'll have to fall back. They've got short control up con. Set the sights on Bath here, Marsborne. They've got all the pieces.
Even better with Dia's utility set. He can support so well from either end of long here. But I feel like Dia maybe more focused on the flank. I want to see what his protocol is off of this nade set. Snap reacts, and he goes down with nothing. It's the entire axe onto the head of Voka here in the site. Yeah, really going to need this response from Dia, deserving in these next couple of seconds to get this reply. They are waiting for it. It's a part of their protocol to clear up to this long corner, and Grizz just has it to a T.
Pack it up, send it away, because they don't have any way to afford to lose these guns. Oh no, they've already lost one of them. Carson doesn't have something that's really all that great, certainly worth saving, but they're on the hunt. Marsborne gonna have 6. This T side, I mean, a victory on the T side, not unheard of, but certainly an incredible showing that could be here for Marsborne. I love that attack at A. I've been talking about it pretty consistently now, Mark, that they've left the A site mostly alone. There was the pistol round, then there was the eco win. That's the 2 attacks towards A that they've had, Marsborne. This is legit. Slow it down, basically walk it up. There's no utility, no audio cues that give away that they're targeting that A site until it's a little too late. And with Voka turtled up onto the site proper and not ambitiously taking anything but long control, it's a big surprise. Great work from Marsborne.
Hopping with these pistols down con. I saw a flash in the pockets there, but I'm not sure this is going to do much if this fight is going to be happening in connector. Could use a pop for it. A little bit of a stylish Molotov out of the corner, but in essence, oh boy, I'm wrong. And we know exactly where Carson is. Snap will get intrigued by this audio cue. Don't worry, I got your back in.
No way.
Oh goodness. Don't literally mean when I got your back, the flank. There's another flank, Vincent. There's another flank. And it's Dia that can line him up. He's looking around. He just checked it. He just checked it. Please, please, please. I want something that's ridiculous tonight. But in the first half, I think we've had a little bit. Carson kind of emptied that river with his ace against the escapees at the beginning of our half for highlight's sake. But Vincent, I didn't want to mention it before the end of that round. And looking at the forecast for this one, it was a 6-6 first half that, we had on train, that we were getting out there. But Marsborne ultimately win it on their T side. I'm more impressed with this. I mean, 7 at the beginning of this overpass was not what I foresaw, especially with the expectations we had for Voka.
Yeah, and listen, that's not to say, like, I've seen a lot of good Marsborne T sides on this map specifically, but yeah, it's Voka that I anticipated to be doing a little bit better. Snap again. I mean, he's just so aggressive. Like I said, the game plan here for Marsborne is not their normal, what a normal overpass looks like. It is entirely purpose-built to deny Voka's more aggressive tendencies. That seems to be the most important thing for Marsborne right now. Oh, it's huge. 2 over at A. Perfect time for what's going to be a B hit. Marsborne have done it once again. Early pick, and now they've got the site they want.
Yeah, desperate feeling from Shane and his site partner here, Carson. But somehow they're actually meeting it right glove for glove. Pushed back into graffiti, but they're still alive. This bomb is going to get put down here, but the rain will come back. I'm not just talking about from the Voka utility, apparently from Marsborne as well, that HE in the pocket to make that a little bit easier for them, and they push it in the protocol of graffiti. That's a big kill.
Oh, and that's an even bigger smoke as well. Gonna have to break through that. They toss up a smoke of their own. Shut that one down. It's 8-4 on the half as Sixy takes his 15th frag to swipe them away. A beautiful half out of Marsborne.
A great half out of Marsborne, Vincent, and one that they should be so proud of. We're going to check back with them after a little bit of a break. 3 minutes, and we'll be right back.
Sometimes you gotta pray for a victory. Yeah, I'm overzealous when I'm thinking about the cash flow. I never had no handouts, just came natural. I've been tested so much, all these wrestlers nice. All these different situations that I've been through. I seen pain trying to creep in through the window, but now I'm sliding through the hood in a Benzo. You gotta separate yourself just to elevate. I keep some drink in my cup to see through the hate. Sometimes on the road to glory, you gotta press the brakes. I got a lesson plan for all my past mistakes. I swear I'm proud of all my best and my worst days. Proud of all my feet when I touch the ground. Front of 8 at Beijing, man, they know the sound. I know I made mistakes, but my mama proud. Fans scream my lyrics out in the background. They ain't know me then, but I'm hot now. They say life's a gamble, you gotta roll the dice. I risked a lot of different things just to live this life. Life down bad, you gotta pay the price. I've been through hell and back just to live this life. They say life's a gamble, you gotta roll the dice. I risked a lot of different things just to live this life. When you down bad, you gotta pay the price. I've been through hell and back just to live this life. I'm faced with a lot of different choices these days. Do a rock and Rolex account a blue face. The whole world know my name off a mixtape. I still got the same brother since 6th grade. G-Wagon red seats, we on Biscayne. Trips to the Florida Keys, we imported these. Thanking God for the life he afforded me. All this jewelry on my body, I could like the hood. I need a brown skinned chick just like Megan Good. Holding up every promise that I ever made. Music in the background, it's a serenade. Been rapping 10 years, boy, this ain't a phase. I paid dues, paid rent, and I stayed the same. I had teardrops running down my face. I've been through a lot, I had real pain. But thank God, cause we really on the better days. They say life's a gamble, you gotta roll the dice. I risked a lot of different things just to live this life. Life down bad, you gotta pay the price. I've been through hell and back just to live this life. They say life's a gamble, you gotta roll the dice. I risked a lot of different things just to live this life. When you down bad, you gotta pay the price. I've been through hell and back just to live this life. What's a life without sacrifice? Sometimes you gotta thank God and just roll the dice. Pacino.
Second half of this overpass here after a quick little break out of this thing. But look, last time we were coming from a tied game here at a half, Vinny. This year with a little bit more of a lead. I'm going to stop at my point because it looks like we're not wasting any time. A B-rush right here, but it's Carson on the other side, but it's Slump doing the most here. A double kill, but CXCI, he is just right up next to them in the smoke. But when is it his time, his turn to poke out? Still waiting. He hasn't made yet a peep here in this site. Carson will now get it down, popping out of it. It's only going to be one from the barrels. So now it's down from Wolfie up top. And he's still trying to line this up. Distract Shane, get Snab off of the bomb plant. But they've gotten that security and Snab taps.
No commitment. Okay. Snab, lack of commitment going to pay off big time as he can double swing there with Shane. Make their moment. As we're going to split the pistols here this time on Overpass. We've been talking about that and how Marsborne have been good on those. Well, could be off to the races. A big double kill at a Slump who, I mean, I'll be real. I mean, Slump really struggling on that CT side, but Dia entirely missing. That is not something you're going to say very often, and certainly hurt them out of Voca. Going to have to see that change. Marsborne, this has become their go-to force buy, I feel like. If they can make it happen, 4 MP9s, and then the scout for Wolfie is very efficient. You can get the scout tags, the MP9s, easy to bag those up if you can get into position.
I feel like these forces so opportune to actually work out, though, and you know, at this call, this type of stance, you look at the minimap and see how separated this Voca team are, but not untradeable, right? They're just staying outside of, you know, this big clump of bathrooms, avoiding what could be a long stack here. I mean, now poking through connector at the top. They're just trying to avoid
bomb.
easy contacts. And I was just speaking about how long hadn't been called up there. There it finally gets challenged. GXCI will have him better. Bomb dropped and still bullying at the front of bathrooms. This is starting to be really an issue here today.
Oh, that's a fantastic late trade. It was Wolfie who nearly got out of there, but he does not escape. I thought 60 was going to be the one punished. Somehow it's Wolfie. Back down, or more accurately out to B. Only going to be Snav making his way through connector. And if you look at where Trop is located, he's in prime position. He's got to be the guy to do the most.
Spams through, can't actually get the kill on his Snav here, but I mean 21 seconds, and all he has to be is something to just make them march around, use a couple more seconds, trip them up if need be. Talking about this force paying off, well, I feel like they were in good cahoots there at the end to take advantage of those positions to take that buy back, but this is a buy that, look, Marsborne won't get back, and it's an opportunity for Voka here to pull it within one without really having needed to do much here in this second half, excuse me.
Yeah, I love to point it out when I can because people ask all the time, I feel like, you know, Shane's stats are good, but not necessarily as good as I think the credit that he gets sometimes. And from the outside, people don't understand. Well, that round's a great example of, like, why Shane is so good. He's able to track down that long trade eventually. He's the guy who's getting through short, making sure that they can't get anything done, so Chop goes down with nothing. It's those moments in the mid-round that Shane is so good at. I've just realized this is a lot of money. I feel like that Marsborne is spending. I'm doing the math, and they're good for it, but it is still a lot.
Definitely more than I prefer. I kind of kept it contained, but I feel like I was getting ready to kind of speak out against their force buy, just specifically on this overpass. I more of kind of made that point in where I feel like circumstantially they just kind of have to get lucky for it to work out here. And, you know, maybe in smaller sample size they do here at the beginning. CCI just barreling through that smoke that he put out himself. He's trying to catch this utility being thrown, and I mean, he wasn't deeper than the deepest man. He actually gets shot right by this MAC-10, and Carson will have a double kill at this range. So a lot more invested in this, and back to back, I am kind of left confused.
Yeah, I think I'll hold my tongue until we get a look at what the buy is actually going to be. But I think your vibe check's on point. And they're just trying to make sure that this AK can't be recovered. Love that, too, from Voka. So we are going to close distance. It's going to be within one. Oh my gosh, Chop, he has gotten the greatest timing of all, but won't leave him with anything. Dude, Carson thought it was his teammate. That's so funny. Yeah. I mean, you look at this. Grizz really lacking. 60 going to be lacking as well. They'll get the op out for Wolfie, but, you know, he's got one flashbang. I'm with it. Like I said, it's like when you put it on Klarna and you can afford it that way. That's not really affording it, you know what I mean?
Of course not. Gotta pay it off at some point, right? That's what they say. Make sure you're good for it. I know you spoke those words back at the beginning of the last round. What a deadly name. Pulled out by Chop. All off of a timing. All in a surprise. It's gonna be 3 in the sack. Right for Marsborne. They steal him out of short, and yeah, we gotta let you go with it too, Mr. Golden. I'm sorry. You're a casualty, excuse me, to this as well. Grizz goes down here to the team kill. His life not in vain, though, thankfully. Snap now spotted, spamming back through short in a 1 versus 3.
You know, I think you mistakenly say casually, but honestly, it looked casual there for Marsborne. Quick and simple. They get right into the mix, and it's maybe the most perfect timing, too. Like, right when Voka are starting to send some utility, what was gonna, I think, end up being sort of a fake towards me. It's as they're assembling that they get caught. And to be honest with you, I thought Snav would just be saving. He's got 30 seconds, but he's moving with purpose. Full kit of utility, bomb on his back. There is a world where he can win this. Wolfie's the first up to bat, though, on A.
I'm never going to count out Snav in a clutch opportunity. Not if I know it's good for me, in my odds. As a caster, trying to keep your trust. Snav is always good for this. It's not going to pass through the lens of Wolfie and his op. Entire rotation is going to be CT based here. The walk's just too far forward. Past the yellow tape. Dies at red for a moment. Back to a tied game. Not today. 9 rounds for Marsborne. And Voka thrown off their tempo.
Really loved it. I think Marsborne, listen, their whole overpass has been quite incredible, and I feel like so targeted too. Targeted at Voka. And I mean, listen, that's who they're playing. I would hope so. But what I mean by that, Mark, is that their whole T slide was about, let's not do almost anything on our own. We're just going to play off of and respond to all of the ways in which Voka like to be aggressive. And it worked out brilliantly, basically the entire half. I feel like this is exactly the same thing, where that short play was keyed off of something that they saw from Voka and the way in which Voka approached their default. That's the vibe I'm getting. Well, Voka gonna change this up. Here they go at B.
And just back-to-back, instant, back-breaking shots. Slump is gonna be clearing out the rest of this pool position. The rest of Marsborne is not even going to consider this. Feeling like the B side of terrain that we're still seeing, just in terms of, it feels like how effective these hits are for the team that's calling them up and sending this utility out. A clean round, so far complete, and they're hunting.
Yeah, this thing really ain't over. As much as that one round from Marsborne a second ago was nearly perfect, really impressive. I don't want to take anything away. You know, Voka go right back to the well. They try again. That's ambitious from Carson. 60 and Wolfie likely to get away with this.
Terrorists win.
And that they will. So we're back to within 1. Super impressive round. Dude, that duo of flashbangs, I wish we saw that back as well, because that was so deadly. It was left and right. I mean, you know, I do love a little nade action. I do like to nerd out.
Rate those flashes. We like them. Nart Austin.
Somebody say nart out.
Oh, baby, the lateral, just like that. Of the boost that, hey, you may not be considering because it's one of the oldest tricks in the book. Works out better than you ever could have thought.
Listen, those old tricks, they certainly can pay off. But hold on. Shane, a deadly entry. And they know where Viz is located. There's more to this.
Carson slides, and that's a very important kill. That should actually satisfy them for how much farther they've gotten into sight. Shane, Snav, back-to-back, and it's instant. Blink and you miss it. Wolfie 1v1. Can he finish where he has already cut 2 players deep at once? Snav, more room to breathe on the site, but it's only solace for a second. Shane, excuse me, in this clutch, 1v1, walks this way, back turn, but he sniffs him out! Oh. Shane, unbelievable detective work! That is great! Doesn't need to take Wolfie out in the cuffs, he's got him in the body bag instead. Tied game.
They thought he could get away with it, but those meddling kids, they came back, and it's more than they could ever want to find. That is an absurd clutch out of Shane, and a recovery, too. Think about where that was. Wolfie, in the first 5 to 10 seconds of that round, offers up a 5-on-3. That's where the recovery starts for Voka. Marsborne. What is their loss bonus? I haven't been tracking it, to be honest with you. This is a lot that they've purchased into this, but the set of MP9s, we know that they're good. We know that they're quite strong. Takes short, double push in that direction for Marsborne. Seems like the first time that they're going to see nothing home, and this in and of itself is going to be a huge information that they can just latch onto.
Gotta get the kill or else it's worth nothing. Slump here bottled back. And now it's a mystery into the rest of the way of short, but not so stressful of a thought here for Voka if they just want to take a couple flashes, confident on those steps. They just gotta crush him. I feel like Shane, so confident the way he just wins that last 1v1. Sure, your star player, prospect-wise, you spoke about it on map number 1, but one of the best in North America here, Dia. They're working without him. Walking out of Monster.
This is crazy timing.
It is great, but for who? I thought the flash may have came back down for Grizz to at least get something started. Won't even begin. It may just be a flawless round, and it is.
Dude.
Here for 10. That literally were the same words that we said on Train when they were the first to get it, but it's a Marsborne's map pick here, and with money problems, I'm starting to count up many, Vincent, and that's too much.
Crucial moment there from Slump. Comes back. I thought 60's flank was going to be on point. And this time, just to highlight the both sides of this equation, I was talking about, I don't know where the loss bonus was that last round. Just fine. They've got everything they need. Pretty much only a couple of flashbangs missing in this equation for them as we get Lucid to talk it over. Couple of gimmicks over these last couple of rounds. And listen, there's some people who might tell you, Mark, that gimmicks are bad. I'm not one of those. You need a few well-placed gimmicks within the playbook. In fact, the more the merrier. But at one point or another, you're going to have to do something a little bit more than that. And I think that's where Marsborne are at currently. The CT side, it's going to have to rely on some sort of A setup, I would imagine. I say that. It's looking unlikely. Maybe down in connector or no. Default setup early here for the CT side. No util, no nothing.
Back shown. Easy. First kill. CXCI. It's like he's boxed in. He doesn't even know it. Carson, take as much room as you feel negotiable. Up here in the A side, without a peep. So loud about it. They may just catch him with his pants down, too. Down. Surprised. Didn't even have a clue. 4v4. And now they still know about Marsborne's in-game leader. Wiped off. Connector, that was just coming for him. Just took some time. Grizz. What a pivot back! No! That wasn't all! Chop gone as well. And now Vizier 1v3 bottling back up on the site, but obvious. And this angle in, flashed, and he might just fry. A 1-round lead that Foca have, they look to double. And Viz just right up top. Carson has looked automatic in this game, but the only positioning that he could actually out-juke him, and he just has to turn around and turret it for his 20th kill. Here Carson is looking like he wants to personally put out Marsborne.
That's a crazy round for everything and more. There's so many pivot points that you could have seen the tree of decisions go a whole different location if Carson doesn't keep moving. He takes that timing and he runs with it, but really he just walks fast, slow and steady to punish Wolfie. They know the whole time about 60. They were never under any other idea from where he could be. Snav went down to him early into the round in connector, and so they knew he still had to be there. And the fact that Shane gets that turn back from into connector from divider, the cherry on top. Could be seeing 12 here. And if you're wondering why your mind is thinking we've seen this before, you have. It could have been, it was 12-9, and that's where Voca closed on Train. There is still something to be said here of Marsborne. A couple of SMGs and these pistols. But as you can tell, Mark, my faith not high.
Don't overcook it, though, right now. Keep an eyes on the lid of this thing. This team is going to be stemming back from this A site soon. Let's not forget that. But as time comes closer to an end of this round, only going to favor Marsborne. They just got to dig their heels into these corners and fight where it's free. Awkward smoke to line this up. This actually may give Voka a better clue as to the off angles and where Marsborne fight from. Barely a fright here for them as they walk through 3 players. Not a problem. You're tapping out. Grizz in Chop can dream of retaking this, but it's not going to happen. 12-9 is your scoreline. You can see potentially back-to-back 13-9 finishes in this series. That's where they lined it up. One measly Hail Mary attempt. It's practically batted at the line and spiked. 12 here for Voka as they look to send Marsborne down to the lower bracket.
It's been step after step that Voka have taken in this matchup. And a step forward last time. They made it a 3-map affair. They couldn't win it, though. And they might just win it in 2 here. 2 steps forward. But it's all about this gun round. Wolfie's got an op. It's all the bells and whistles. Marsborne, do or die. Their chances in this series resting solely within this round. Taking it back fast towards short. They get that control. Happy with it. Not a lot of investment early into the round. Chop really the only person who's like used a nade set at the beginning of this round, which is really unusual for the start of an overpass CT side.
Flash out of the top of connector. They're just trying to reach for a little bit of the control back on this. Here it is. One clear. Chop's gets back off of it. Goodness, Vincent. This gets tough. But now bottling it back. Needing it. Just like these 2 teams are battling for this final up spot to qualify, Vincent. NRG, Wildcard, Skin Rave already there. It's practically between Voka and Marsborne fighting for it. So Voka want to get this first laugh here in the upper bracket. They have the advantage here by 1 time. And the B site where they have finished so successfully.
I would have loved to see a pivot. And they're thinking about it. Marsborne thinking that might be what's happening. So now it's only 2 here on B.
There's that spray down. And Slump with the double kill. This is it. Marsborne are going to be heading to the lower bracket. Unless 6C, unless Wolfie dream of retaking this. But Wolfie up so close. And Carson been the mediator of this B bomb site the entire time. This is gone. It's gutted. 13-9 back-to-back score lines. You saw 3 series wins in a row. That's vanished at the vein of Voka tonight.
Big victory for this Voka team. They've struggled through this thing, and it hasn't been easy, to be honest with you. I think a struggling performance out of it.